Hello everyone, this is a unintentionally belated video. I was actually thinking of making it, but then I kind of just let the days pass. I'm referring to my review of when I actually went to. I've been to Kylie's concert now, the part of the Tension Tour 2025. Those that have been to the concert will know. You'll see once the support act is done, wherever you are in the world. I'm not sure if it'll be more rat all the way through all the 70 shows, but once more rat has performed, you'll see on the screens. Before I go on, I should say I will be saying spoilers. Well, not even spoiler, just the fact. I'm fairly sure my gut instinct is that if you really were curious about Kylie, you would have sought the footage yourself, either on Facebook or online media sources, YouTube. So I don't think I really need to warn you. The Australian tour has wrapped up. All her Australian dates are done. So from Perth to Adelaide to Melbourne to Brisbane and Sydney. So it's on to the rest of the world now. So unless fans of the rest of the world don't want to know anything about the tour, or you prefer to remain under a rock, I understand, and you want to go with fresh eyes, please stop watching now. Okay, you still there? Okay. What was I saying? What's my train of thought? Yeah, so I'm just going to give a review. Now that I've actually, grateful that I actually be twice. I went to 2 of 3 Melbourne shows. For those that haven't watched my channel before and new, I didn't go to all 3. I would have gladly done so. But the second date on the Friday, I went to OMD, Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark from the UK. They released their Australian dates before Kylie, so coincidentally, their first 2 Australian dates, or their only 2 Australian dates, 2 Melbourne dates, coincided with Kylie's first 2 Melbourne dates, also of the Tension Tour. So anyone who's equally an OMD fan and Kylie fan, I hope there was no clashes or having to, sell off tickets or, decide who do I end up going to. So, yes, so I went to the Thursday show and the Saturday show in February. It's already last month. It's already March now. Where does the time go? So, let's start with the set list. Which was slightly tweaked each night of the Australian dates. I'm focusing on the audience participation or fan requests, audience requests as it's called, when you look up setlist.fm, the website. I think setlist.fm it's called, or setlist.fm, probably plural, isn't it? You'll see it works like Wikipedia, so that side people contribute what the set list was of a particular artist, in this case Kylie. So each night some tracks were the same, some weren't. So for the 2 Melbourne shows I went to, Did It Again did feature in both, I think, from memory. Yep. It was only a snippet, so really I'm glad she found the time to do that, but I would have preferred a full song of a fan request or audience request. But yeah, she already had so many other tracks to perform, and even then they were shortened, as you know. Overall, I was happy overall with the tracks from start to finish. The only quibbles, if I can even call it that, in no particular order, I would have omitted Last Night I Dreamt I Fell in Love. I never think that's a new song. Don't you love Kylie? I do love Kylie, but there are, I do have some preferences to other tracks. Naturally, all fans do. As we'd have favorite albums and favorite singles and favorite eras of Kylie and favorite tours. So yeah, that particular track, maybe it'll grow on me over time. I'm amazed that it's really short. I think it's only about 2 minutes long, and it's great that she launched it on Valentine's Day. But if that wasn't part of the set list, I wouldn't have minded. Then she could have had room for another track. So speaking to one of my workmates that also went to Kylie, he said he, like, what I asked him what he thought of the set list. He wished that she sang "Wow," in his opinion. I think he mentioned "Wow." Did he mention other tracks? So that's interesting. I would have liked her to perform "In My Arms." I do prefer that a little bit over "Wow," but yeah, she's done those two tracks a lot in the past, so got to mix it up a bit. What I predicted correctly. I'll have to look back at this, but I'll put in the comments. I did a predictions list leading up to the Tension tour. I was so excited. I tried to predict what her set list might be for the Tension tour, and many of the tracks that I listed were there, but not in the right order, and some weren't there at all. And I have an overabundance of medleys and mashups that she didn't do. I did. The only one I did correctly predict was the opening track, which was Lights, Camera, Action. Fittingly so. It was a track made for that, really, wasn't it? I mean, in future, if she does include it, it may appear lower down later on in the set list, or not at all. But as an opener, yeah, that's quite appropriate and fitting. And what an amazing opening where she opened from on that raised seat. It calls it a trapeze seat. And the encased in that laser diamond formation. That was unexpected. I couldn't have predicted that. I didn't even think of how she would appear. I was just thinking of the actual track listing. So Lights, Camera, Action, I got correct. I'm glad she performed What Do I Have to Do. That's one of my favorite tracks from Rhythm of Love. I do love the other singles as well. Step Back in Time, Better the Devil You Know, which she performed, and Shocked. Yeah, she left off Step Back in Time. Interesting, when she was talking about taking you back to the 80s, she did obligatory do the locomotion. She could have put in Step Back in Time a little bit, maybe as an interlude, an audio interlude. I would have also preferred her not to do Good As Gone, although that was amazing on stage. I would have preferred Someone for Me instead. So yeah, so that one. Also Taboo. I agree with lots of fans. They love that track. I don't think it's a single. I don't think she's intending to, unfortunately, ever release it as a single, but Taboo has really resonated with fans, and I like that song as well. It's got that ooh, 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 ooh kind of, that hook. I mean, they've all got hooks, haven't they? But yeah, I would have liked to see Taboo played live rather than just the audio interlude. I'm glad she played tracks from Disco, which at the time, as fans know, it was our lockdown period, the horrid pandemic years, where Kylie was restricted to perform that online. You could buy your tickets online and watch a streaming streaming in real time of Disco, the concert attached to the album Disco. So I'm glad. Oh well, actually, that was a medley, wasn't it? So it's about the only, well, not the only medley. I mean, you could, yeah, definitely it was a medley where she, had the songs Magic and other tracks from Disco, which she did like in a medley. So that was great that she incorporated the Disco album, because yeah, we didn't get to have that album toured at the time. So yeah, it would have been challenging for her to fulfill the set list, but I think she did a good job. They're the only quibbles. I said leave off Last Night I Dreamt I Fell in Love, put Someone for Me in place of Good As Gone. But otherwise, I think I would leave the set as it is. I believe from memory, Can't Get You Out of My Head and Padam Padam were closer together, even maybe back to back when she performed in Perth, and by the time it was in Melbourne and also probably Adelaide, it was separated. So Padam Padam was later on, I think the second last track in the encore section, and yeah, Can't Get You Out of My Head was before that, two or three tracks before, and I think that flowed a lot better. So I also like that when Can't Get You Out of My Head was about to be performed, she does have some audio, so she's not singing it, she's chatting with the audience, and then you hear la 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 audio in the background, and then she sings live. So I thought that's a great, because that La 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 is so iconic, isn't it? We all fans know, or non-fans, even if you just like that song of Kylie, when the La La Las come on, it has to be Can't Get You Out of My Head. So, and I'm glad they performed it as the single was, without any remixes, or, I mean, the remix with Mashup with Blue Monday is really great, that version, but I'm glad she performed it in its original form. Also, she performed Better the Devil You Know, it's an original form too. Yeah, so that's the set list. So as for the dresses and how she presented herself on stage, I've talked. Sorry, I'm laughing. If any of my workmates are watching, they know I've talked about this at length with them. I don't mean to be laughing, so I just easily get the giggles when you talk to me, not being recorded. So saying, I have read some harsh comments about apparently Dolce and Gabbana branded dresses, such as when she was in Perth, she wore a green, diagonally striped green and silver dress. And there was one comment that said she looks like the Grinch, or the dress reminded them of the Grinch, which I really don't see. I mean, if it was a furry, fabric number, maybe, but if anything, it looked like Christmas wrapping. Respectful, I don't mean to be rude about that. And she ditched that dress. So I think by the time she got to Adelaide and Melbourne, it was a purple flowing mini skirt, if I got that right. I'm not definitely not a couture of any measure, so I'm probably describing it. You know what I mean when she sings "Time Bomb," and what's it? An Edge of a Saturday Night. She's wearing a flowing purple mini skirt, and that I think purple. I like purple over green. Green is my least favorite color on anyone or any decor. I don't like green, so yeah. So having her not in green is already a bonus for me. I just hope she didn't, I don't think, I doubt it, but, she could have a team of people scouring the internet and correcting any naysays, but I don't think she would. I think I would just hope that was her choice and not her being, oh my gosh, I look like the Grinch, I better change. I really doubt it. I'm not a betting person, but I really doubt if that would have affected Kylie so much that she read someone's comment and said, I look like the Grinch, I better resolve that. No. I think it's just a personal choice. I would imagine be presented with that a possibility of a purple miniskirt, and her wardrobe coordinator would have said, "What do you think of this compared to the green and silver stripe one you're wearing?" And she said, "Yeah, actually, the purple one looks good." So anyway, so yeah, and some comments were criticizing the dancers, like why doesn't she get why does she why doesn't she pay dancers to dance? Well, they're clearly dancing. Seeing the entire show, they were moving about. I mean, at times they were kind of not really moving. I kind of put it to like the Pet Shop Boys. My other equally favorite artist to Kylie is the Pet Shop Boys. They're both on tier number one. In the Pet Shop, if anyone's seen a Pet Shop Boys concert, if they do have dancers, the dancers do move either really strangely, so to speak, but really uniquely, or not. They're kind of statuesque. And there were times when Kylie's dances were a bit statuesque, but I don't consider that not dancing. That's still part of the performance. So I had no issues with the dances. The only thing I would say, and as I reviewed the Perth show, or what I saw of the Perth show online, the dancers' costumes were rather dour. Like I don't, obviously obviously Kylie would prefer they not outshine hers because she's the star, so she should be ideally, the most beautiful and glamorous. But the dancers, I think, the colors and fabrics could have been a little bit brighter, not just black or silver. Anyway, they were wearing colors when they did Locomotion, and they did have those kind of puffy, they look like puffy toys on stage, kind of inflated toys. Yeah, so they were definitely in different primary colors. But other than that, they're very much Pet Shop Boys, actually, when they wore the black outfits initially at the start of the show with the kind of like, I hate to say it looks a bit, oh, should I say it? No, I don't think I will. I think you know what I'm alluding to. A group of people that wore those pointy hats. They kind of had the black kind of points to them, and so did Pet Shop Boys. They wore those. Well, they were dunces caps, really, from their album Very. Particularly the single "Can You Forgive Her." In the video clip, both Neil and Chris are wearing tall, pointy hats with orange and white striping, diagonal striping. And also, when the Pet Shop Boys performed at the London Olympic Games, around when would it be? Well, the last time London had it, when they were one of the musical guest stars, and yeah, when they were performing around the track of the Olympic Oval, or Olympic Arena, they wore very era outfits, orange, and themselves and their backup dancers had orange points on their heads as well. So kind of was reminiscent when Kylie's dancers had the black points, kind of triangular points on their heads, or very angular points. It kind of reminded me of Petra Boys inspired design. Not saying the Petra Boys were the first to do that, but yeah, reminiscent of that. So I could have said, oh, she's borrowed the Petra Boys concept there, and why not? She was happy with it. So yeah, I'm not saying she knew that they was related to the Petra Boys, but she went with that for the dancers. I would imagine she'd have to tick off, she'd get ultimately the approval for all choices of the show. What else? The staging, yes. Just correcting a couple of things from my Perth review. When I was trying to describe those steps, like the Lego stepped blocks, I call them, that were moved around the stage, I said they didn't really have a use. Yes, they did have a use. Kylie had leant on it or sat against it, and the dancers were placed on top of it, kind of in a pose. So they did have a purpose. And being modular, they could be moved together or apart. And yeah, they featured in the first few tracks of the show. Also, I failed to mention about the platforms on either side that were also on a track, where the backup singers and the band were stationed. So those two platforms could be moved together or apart. And yeah, the staging did have more than just 2 or 3 steps, as I first said. They had like maybe 4 to 10 steps overall. So, but still, it was a very open and, dare I say, bare stage. But apparently, I've read further that the lighting, even the lighting system, the visual screens at the back from floor to ceiling were obviously state of the art. It's 2025, so she'd have all the latest equipment. So, and it looked spectacular. At times, it's not a perfect world. You might go to a concert and you see a gap in the LED lighting, or there's a fault, like in the screens, like either one section of the screen's not working, or there's a bar through it. So there's nothing like that. Clearly, she's at the start of a tour, so maybe when she gets halfway, they should do a maintenance check on all that kind of thing. The glitter bomb and the streamers were, launched into the audience. That was amazing. And the third and final show in Melbourne, I was there on a floor seat, so I got the perspective of the main stage, and behind me, 2 or 3 rows away, was the B stage. Unfortunately, she was her back was facing to me and to the people near me, so because she was doing it obviously for the benefit of those at the very back of the arena, so she mostly had her back towards us. But still, whenever she turned around or she did the Where the Wild Roses Grow roses part, handing out roses, she was facing us. So yeah. So the glitter and the streamers launching, that was great. Everyone loved that and showered down on me as well. Moving from the main stage to the B stage was effective during locomotion. That was great. Literally moving through the audience. I mean, there's a pathway, but those that were lucky enough to be that close, I wasn't. Even 2 or 3 seconds of getting a selfie with her, or videoing her, or taking a photo as she walked past, that's probably as close as anyone could imagine to get to Kylie these days. What else? I think that really covers. Oh, in terms of the merchandise, I consistently buy tour programs. I'm saying that when I went to Bryan Adams, I didn't choose to buy the tour program. Admittedly, I'm only a casual listener of Bryan Adams. I have bought Bryan Adams tour programs before, but this time round, I just chose not to. I have found, my collection of tour programs. Have you looked at them lately? Not really. Maybe if people come over to the apartment for the first time, friends, and I know they like music, I might show them a Kylie or a Pet Shop Boys tour program just at random. But no, I wouldn't say I look through them anytime soon. Well, for years, ever since I first bought them. But I would have liked the Kylie to have attention to a tour program. So whether she'll develop one later for other cities and dates around the world due to feedback, I don't know. I would think it's a no-brainer in terms of making a profit, and that's what the merchandise is for. I don't know, I'm just randomly saying a number here. If it costs like $5 to produce and print, and she sells it for $30 to $45, well, you can do the math there. She's going to make a massive amount of money from a tour program. Yes, I know it's cutting down trees, but yeah, I was really surprised that they didn't have a tour program. This the first concert ever, I believe she doesn't have a tour program. So, well, I can live with that. I wasn't crying over that. Um, I think that covers everything. Oh, and just lastly, the because the show I went to on the third and final date of Melbourne was a VIP package. There were two tiers of the package, the upper and the lower. I'll call it. I was the lower choice, uh, and I got well. It looks like the toiletries vanity bag, a bit not as wide, and contained inside was a notebook, VIP lanyard with obviously attention tour logo and writing on the notebook, the lanyard, and also the luggage tag. The luggage tag, I thought I was being, yeah, overly, I don't know, pessimistic, thinking if I ever actually used it as a luggage tag, I would think the airport handlers or baggage handlers or someone that saw the tag would try to take it off, especially if they were a Kylie fan, or maybe not, they just want to vandalize. So I would never actually use it as a luggage tag. It's just a memento. I appreciate it's a practical item, but I won't use it for that purpose. Also, the notebook, I do keep a paper diary as well, but just a notebook with empty pages, yeah, I wouldn't likely write in it. I would like to just leave it as is. I could obviously use it as a notebook and maybe just put Kylie notes in it or Kylie related notes in it, but no. The lanyard, yes, that's still inside that case, the carry case. Maybe I should call it, not the toiletries bag. But yeah, that just adds to my collection of past lanyards that I've chosen to go to a level of VIP level tickets and other concerts as well, such as Culture Club or Robbie Williams, for instance, just to name two. Yeah, so overall I was happy. The key thing, as I mentioned in past videos, also not just Kylie, was I entertained? Yes, so already it's a winner. And yeah, I agree. Some people were just trolling. Apparently, people saying that the exact comments were cut and pasted, on all platforms from Instagram to Facebook to YouTube, so Twitter, and yeah, it's understandable. Some of these comments of people weren't even going to go to the show, so they're just purely basing it on 30 seconds of someone's video footage or photos that they've seen. I guess you'll always have the haters, I hate to say, or people who just want to cut people down. I don't know, they enjoy that. Just images, just quickly. I know it's not Kylie related. It just I have unsubscribed to this channel. I just got tired of the content. It's just sort of same old, repeat and rinse, which you could say about my channel too. But I won't actually say the name of the channel. But what was I referring to? Yeah, there was someone dedicated to do an anti, basically, just to rip the person down. So they actually created a channel to find every single fault from this person's content and the personality of this person, the character, try to cut them down in every way. I can only imagine it's not true, I would hope. But yeah, there's a dedicated channel to basically rip into him. It's incredible. And people are subscribed to this channel, so they're supporting the hatred that this person has for this person. I'm really surprised that YouTube has allowed it to go ahead to continue, because it's really just poo-pooing on this person, whether validated or not. So yeah, anyway, so I hope that there's no Kylie channels like that. I mean, not that I would look for them, but yeah, what's the saying? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And I would think at this stage of Kylie's career, yeah, she'd have a very thick skin, and those people are, not going to impact on what she's going to do or what she might do in the future. So there you go. I think I've covered it all. Yeah, so in my Perth review, I mentioned about those Lego stepped podiums. They were actually used in the show, not just in the background. I also incorrectly have said the end date is May 2025 of Kylie, so it's not, it's August. Someone corrected me in the comments in another post that I did, and thank you for that. You know who you are. It is actually August 2025, well, at this stage, unless she adds some more dates. It's finishing in Mexico. I can't remember the exact date, but it is August 2025, not May 2025. I don't know why I got that in my mind or my head. Maybe May was the tentative end date at first, I don't know. But yeah, amazing. So 70 shows, unless she adds more, unless she's invited to festivals or something like that. So like I said, just to recap, the Australian leg of the tour is done, and I'm grateful she started in Australia, because other tours she started overseas and ended in Australia, but she started in Australia this time round, so that's great. Since she's from Australia, from Melbourne, her home city, and deservedly so. She had 3 dates here in Melbourne, so that's amazing. In the first show, I had the side-on view, so I was, although it was kind of a lower tier seat, I was side-on. So yeah, in the third and final show, I was, well, I wouldn't have chosen a seat. I prefer an aisle seat, those that know my channel, but I was dead in the middle, so about 10 seats to my left and 10 seats to my right. But I had I guess a square on shot of the main stage, and as I said, when I turned around, the B stage was behind me, quite close behind me, maybe 2 or 3 rows away. So yeah, completely different point of view perspective from the first show that I went to. So both amazing, but yeah, I got a clear view of the whole main stage, which that's where it all happens. So and also the catwalk, that's like a T, comes out like that and goes like that, and the B stage. So yeah, from side on, I kind of got a side on view of the main stage, and I kind of didn't see fully what was happening because it was on that angle. So I appreciate that I did choose to see her twice. So yeah, how long have I talked for? Goodness. Okay. I'm also grateful if this content creator is also watching. I read a quite pleasantly surprised and humbled by an invite from another channel wanting me to be on their show to talk about my Perth review, or what I said in the Perth review. I can only speculate and assume if I agree to it. I'll explain why I didn't. Maybe it would be over Zoom or something like that, and they would interview me or ask me to repeat what I've actually said. I'm not too sure. I've never collaborated with anyone or with another content creator before. I simply said it was probably a little bit negative on me, but I unfortunately am a little bit of my own worst critic. I did say, basically I was saying my channel's not monetized. If it ever does one day, so be it. We'll get to that when we cross that bridge when it comes. But it's a very small channel, really, in a very big pond. I've got less than, as I told this person in my reply in the comments to him or her or they, I said my channel is only about 2 years old. It has under 2,000 subscribers. I mean, that's a lot, but still under 2,000. So and I said I'm a Luddite with technology, and that's true. Still to date, I don't own a laptop or a desktop. I did have a desktop when I grew up in my 20s from memory, but that was one of those big back ones, and it wasn't a slimline computer screen that we have now, or even a TV that doubles as a computer screen. I remember a time when those of my generation, when you printed paper, it was that dot matrix when the printing came out. So yeah, very archaic technology, and I just really haven't updated myself. I don't have a GoPro. I don't have a remote microphone. When I film, I don't have a microphone with that little furry part over the top to, if it's a windy day, it will buffet out the wind sounds. I don't have a laptop or a desktop. So I explained to this person who invited me on their show that I said I was hinting that, or alluding that without that technology, laptop or desktop, I wouldn't be able to do Zoom calls very effectively. I know some mobile phones you can do Zoom calls, but yeah, you'd need a lot more data, I think, or computing power to do that. So your phone would have to be pretty much top notch, and the latest model, I would assume, to do a Zoom call on your phone rather than a desktop or a laptop. I would imagine they would prefer me to be seen, maybe than just heard. I don't know. I mean, I didn't pursue it further, and they asked me how do you reach me, and I also said the only socials I have is YouTube. I don't have an account on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or TikTok. So, and I did try experimenting by putting I have 2 email addresses, Outlook and Gmail, and I put the Gmail one on my description of my channel for a little while, hinting or alluding at other channels that have said, if you want to send me products for me to review, like, even if it's just dry chips or something, something that would be allowed to be posted to me. But I got no response. But I only displayed my Gmail for a very short time. So maybe there wasn't enough time for people to react to that. And even when they did see my gym, I'm thinking, "Oh, who are you? I'm not going to send products to you. It's such a small channel. You're not going to make a dent in my profits if any companies were watching." Versus those channels that have millions or billions of views and equally so subscribers, you would seek out those channels rather than my little small one at the moment, which is effectively like a video diary. Yeah, not to be, well, yes, maybe a little bit harsh. It's very amateurish. I mean, I haven't delved deeper in how to edit, in editing in a big way, or putting, big effects or some introduction to my channel that others do. When you click on their channel and every single post, it has an introduction, even if it's 10 to 5 seconds or 5 to 15 seconds, where, might have a logo and a jingle and, something to introduce their show, or clips of what they've done before in a compilation. I don't have anything like that. So I'm grateful for the subscribers that I do have. You're looking at a very basic channel just on my phone as I'm doing now. Anyway, yeah, so I'm grateful that's another concert tour that I've been to of Kylie's. The only one I didn't go to in her Australian history is Enjoy Yourself. Enjoy Yourself was her very first tour, her second album, and I just wasn't in that mindset, even though I would have been, how old would I have been? Enjoy Yourself was 1991, was Rhythm of Love. Was it around 89 or 1990? Have I got even the dates right? Anyway, yeah, when her first album Kylie came out, and then Enjoy Yourself, although it was a late teenager or maybe early 20s, I just wasn't into music as I am now. So the amount of CDs I owned or vinyl was very minimal. Still had cassettes, I think, even at that time, singles. So yeah, I just, my understanding of going to concerts, or that prospect just wasn't in my head at that time. So the first concert I saw of Kylie's was Rhythm of Love, and I saw that by myself. And then progressed from there, from Impossible Princess, through a mutual friend. I made a new friend through her. They don't want to be named, but you know who you are. And the friend I met through this mutual friend, I've still is my friend today, and we've consistently gone to Kylie concerts together. Unfortunately, we didn't go to Golden together. Essentially because it was at the Sydney Mine Music Bowl. I don't know why she chose that venue. It's my least favourite venue of any artist, even Kylie. Why did you choose that venue? I wasn't successfully able to get the 3 or 4 seated tickets that I was assigned to get, that I wanted to get to. We didn't want to compromise and be on the lawn, so I ended up going to Sydney by myself to see the Golden Tour. And then for the Tension Tour, my close friend that I'm still in touch with for Kylie, we go to Kylie. She preferred not to go to, she preferred the Friday date, and that's the date I couldn't go to because I was at OMD. So again, we weren't together for 2 concerts now so far, Golden and Tension. But hopefully for whatever is to come next, I'm sure it will be amazing. The next tour, I hope we can see it together once again and continue that lineage and tradition. So I think I've talked well enough. If you're a Kylie fan, thank you for watching, or even if you're not, if you're just curious, what is this person on about? I feel refreshed and revitalized going to Kylie. It just makes me grateful that she's still around for all these years for us to enjoy, and I look forward to her future input to come post Tension and Tension 2. Thank you for watching. And take this opportunity to thank all of you for continuing to, whenever you want to or feel like it, reach out to me through comments or likes, or sharing my content. Just know that my ability to reach me is very limited. It's only pretty much through YouTube. As I said, I've taken down that Gmail address from my description. I'm open to collaborating, but maybe just small steps. Maybe someone who lives locally near me, or someone in Melbourne. I assume that person who reached out to me for their, wanting me to share my Perth review of Kylie wasn't in Melbourne or Australia, or maybe they were. I shouldn't assume. Anyway, I just feel if it's someone local, then we can meet up, at a cafe somewhere. Obviously, if they're on the other side of the world, they would expect me to have Zoom ability, and I don't. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm rambling now. Yep, go Kylie. Ignore the naysayers. I'm sure she does. Ignore the negative Nancy's out there. Those that have gone to the concert and those that will for the rest of her world dates, please enjoy, and I'm sure it'll be amazing. So, until next time, go Kylie.